When does Aveilut begin for a family that is sending the body to Israel and they are remaining behind in the States? And they have family in Israel that is taking care of the burial. Now, this is a question that is asked all the time, a very common scenario. I was asked it by one of our rabbis in Chicago as part of a more complex question. But let's focus on this aspect because this is so relevant. The general halacha is that they would start their Aveilut right away after the plane took off because they're now done with the burial. The Gemara says if you're sending a body outside the city and the family turns around and the Chevra Kadisha is burying it, the family begins their Shiva as soon as they turn around. At that moment, there's a Siluk Hadat, there's Yeyush. They've given up being involved with the burial, so they've moved on to the next stage. So here too, the psak is they begin immediately when the plane takes off. Family in Israel begins at the time of burial. My approach here, though, is an unconventional one, but one that I think is absolutely the right one nowadays. And I believe that nowadays, if the family continues to participate via Zoom, and they will be present at the funeral by Zoom, and one could even argue by phone, but let's talk about Zoom, then they are connected to the burial, all along the way until that moment of the burial itself. And they're also being connected through the phone and discussing issues, so they have not turned away their attention just when the body takes off. Now, they're not directly in contact with the body, but the Shulchan Aruch makes it clear between the lines that case actually would wait till the burial. The Shulchan Aruch says that this halacha is true when they send it to a different city. The Shulchan Aruch says that this halacha is true when they don't know when the body will be buried. And the poskim say that if it's going to be in the same city, or they know when the body will be buried, then their Shiva doesn't begin until the burial of the body, because they have not actually moved on to the next stage. So it seems to me that nowadays they know when the body will be buried. Even if it's a different city, they are still connected, and that the halacha actually should be that they begin their Shiva at the time of burial. Somebody who wants to follow the normal psak and begin their Shiva right away is, of course, entitled. That's the overwhelming consensus. But I believe we really have to think about a different approach here that is logical and supported by the rulings of the Shulchan Aruch.